Hey, happy Saturday. It's me, Victoria Weather Meteorologist Ryan Henning, with my loyal assistant Charlie and his little sister Mariah. We're here to give you a forecast for the city of Dover, Delaware. Let's look at it on our map. Here's the East Coast, there's Pennsylvania, and we're down in Dover, which is just south of Philadelphia, right here, and east of Baltimore. On the Delmarva Peninsula, named, of course, after Delaware, Maryland, and Virginia. Charlie and Mariah are excited about it, so let's take a look at the weather. Yesterday was a bit of an interesting day across the eastern seaboard. Part of that same complex I wrote about yesterday with the flooding rains in West Virginia continued on to the East Coast. There were several wind reports from the eastern panhandle of West Virginia all the way down to eastern South Carolina. There was one hail report just south of the Delaware line in Wicomico County in Maryland. I'll show you what that looks like on the map here. So we got our wind reports here, and then there's one small isolated hail report in the state of Delaware. Catch that. I'm still trying to feel out this whole using the phone thing, so I apologize if you're not catching everything. So if we look at today's forecast, we look at our observations. I have a dog trying to climb into my lap right now. Here is the East Coast. Here's Delaware. It's 79 degrees. It's clear and in the upper 70s across the region. You can see it in southern New Jersey, Philadelphia. It's actually in the low 80s right now. Maybe you can see that. Part of that is because of the light easterly flow off of Delaware Bay. It's keeping things a little bit cooler across the entirety of the Delmarva Peninsula. And that's just, like I said, a function of the oceanic currents and having a cooler body of water to blow off, to import air off of, and not really just an entirely different air mass change. If we look at what our model guidance is showing us, we can see that we have a sorry, I have a dog panting in my lap right now. It's very hot here in Minnesota today, so it's it's good to be forecasting for another city in the basement where it's air conditioned. If we look at the forecast guidance here, we can look and see our remnant area low pressure. That was yesterday's activity off the East Coast here, with another system developing over Montana and Ontario, but also a lot of activity over the Carolinas. If we look at the GFS forecast as well, holy smokes, I went way too far into the future. Here we go. There's our area low pressure off the East Coast with shower activity over Virginia and the Carolinas. That's what I was looking for. I knew it looked different. The GFS, or excuse me, the NAM doesn't really have anything going on there, so I did load the national radar, and you can see there's a line of thunderstorms just north of Wilmington, kind of the Jacksonville, Morehead City area, all the way into northern South Carolina. So the GFS looks like that's the better model right now, and that's the one we're going to ride as we go forward just for the next couple of days. But there's really not a whole lot going on. You can see high pressure is developing here in the East Coast, from New York all the way down to the Carolinas. That's going to be great for tomorrow. This time is around sunrise tomorrow, so most of the day looks good tomorrow, but you can see this area low pressure developing over Canada with a cold front. It's going to bring some severe weather to the upper Midwest today, maybe into the western Great Lakes as well. But as the system moves off to the northeast, you can see it's getting kind of distended or stretched out, which means there's not the same strong push of cold air, which would lead to a clash in air masses, which would lead to strong showers and thunderstorms. And that's going to continue to be the case as it heads eastward. One thing you can notice a trend on is these red lines. These are thickness lines. They represent the thickness of air. As we've discussed, cold air is denser, and warmer, more humid air is less dense. It's molecular chemistry and physics. I just want to get to the forecast about Dover. I've written about it a few times. If you do a quick search on the site, give the full explanation on it. But the moral of the story is hotter, humid air is less dense, and with these lines inching to the northeast, that indicates that there's going to be less dense air moving in, which means hotter, more humid air. In this instance, that's not going to necessarily be represented by the temperatures because we are, like I said, exposed out in between Chesapeake and Delaware Bay in Dover. So instead what you're going to see is temperatures hold steady, especially for the forecast highs, but dew points starting to climb up there, which will mean stickier weather. I don't believe that these showers and storms, as they move into the region, are going to get there in time that it's going to rain before midnight. This is pretty close to midnight. This is actually midnight, and you can see tiny little Delmarva Peninsula right there. Stays completely dry. If you look at the NAM, which we said we're not using, it does have some shower activity getting in there. But the GFS, I think, is anticipating the cooler air pressing up against our cold front. And another thing that both models are anticipating is a weak area of low pressure developing over Virginia. And that very well may be the case. The thing that gives me pause is if you look at the upper level guidance, and this is way higher than anything that would be that would generate that area of low pressure, but there is no upper level support. This is a broader upper level trough, which is kind of organizing the main area of low pressure that's bringing us our showers and thunderstorms in the Appalachians early next week. And not really aiding or abetting an area of low pressure developing in the mid-Atlantic or southeast. And that just serves to say that, yeah, there could be something there, but it's not well organized and it's not going to be easily forecast. And I am somebody who hedges on the side of optimism, and just looking at the trend of the broader system, I think it's more likely that wave doesn't happen, and if it does, it might even slow the whole boundary down. But one way or another, I think it's going to stay dry in Dover, at least through midnight on Monday, with showers becoming increasingly likely on Tuesday. That's about it, though. Let's look at the forecast for the model output. And you can see, like I said, the temperatures, high temperatures, this is the GFS, are both 81. You can see the dew point trend, upper 50s tomorrow, climbing all the way up to the low 70s by the beginning of the day on Tuesday. So that's reflected in those thickness lines and kind of the interpretation of the forecast. So I think the temperature will be a little bit warmer on Monday. 81 seems a little low, maybe 83, 84. Yeah, it should be increasingly sticky, but tomorrow is going to be an awesome weekend day. And really today too. So enjoy it if you're out in Delaware. It's going to be a good day to get to the beach and hopefully, I don't know, have a good time. I was going to say, hopefully you're not watching this video, but please watch this video. Send it all to your friends in Dover. I'm falling apart. So I'm going to get out of here. So for the now sleeping Mariah and Charlie, there's his head. I'm Victoria Weather Meteorologist Ryan Henning, and I hope you all have a good weekend.